I just want this to be a good film.
If you care too much about this job, it will kill you.
What if we all just lost our minds out here?
Jeez.
Oh, it's happening.
You guys, the timing of this show could not have been better, because we have reached that, that superhero fatigue. So to have something like this that kind of takes the, out of something is it's a lot of fun.
Oh, good.
How did you come up with? Where did the idea come up from? And how did you decide on what this hero was going to be?
Well, the original idea, which is the overall idea, came from myself and Armando Iannucci, who are, I've known for 5 or 6 years, and I've known for 30 years, but 5 or 6 years ago we had a meeting, and I told him a few funny stories about the chaos of the making of the Bond movies that it was involved in. The good stuff too, but he said, well, that's a show, behind the scenes of the making of a giant franchise movie.
And having spent a lot of time on sets myself, with this job, you've captured the monotony of set life, in that it is so much waiting to do something for 40 seconds.
All right.
And you stop and you're doing turnarounds, you're doing extra takes. And for someone who's been on set, it's very interesting, because I've always wondered what these conversations are between the crew members, the second AD, because the second AD truly is kind of like the nurse in a delivery room. They do all the work, and then the doctor, who's your director, comes in for like a second, does the scene, and walks back out. So you've really captured that. But what we see going into this is also, and I feel like a lot of this is from what you guys have experienced on set, is the neuroses that runs rampant through a set.
Right. Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, you're dealing with a lot of unstable elements, right? Directors with egos, actors, everyone's got a lot at stake. A lot of people are making themselves very vulnerable, acting. I don't know how they do it, but they make themselves so vulnerable every day. And I guess playing with those egos, what felt fun is having the center of the show be the guy whose basic job is to manage those egos and to try and corral them all into the making of this thing every day. And so seeing Daniel, Himesh's character Daniel, have to deal with Adam, have to basically inflate him and keep him going, but also deal with Eric, who's got his own things, but also deal with Peter. Those sort of those challenges are quite specific to this way of life, right? That I think to some extent you have to do those in lots of jobs, manage egos and manage your boss. It's just that this workplace is, everything's kind of magnified by like 100%, and the egos are more explosive, and it's like this sort of fake world of make believe where tantrums and things are more kind of accepted. And yeah, it's like an impossible job it's like herding cats with like 8 different egos.
This is very exciting. Well, first of all, for the viewers that are coming, because I don't want to spoil anything, going down the line, explain who your character is and how they fit into the production and what their biggest problem is.
I play Anita Yarnell, who is a new producer on the project to try to come help save this sinking ship. And the biggest problem is all the men.
I play Daniel Kumar, who's the first AD, first assistant director on the movie. And his biggest problem is that his director keeps changing his mind at the same time that the studio are trying to dismantle the movie that they're making.
I play Adam Randolph, who's Tecto in the Tecto franchise, and his biggest hurdle or whatever problem is himself and his own security.
Yeah. It feels like your character wants to be more of a shark than she's allowed to be, but also she has a soft spot for this production.
She thinks she's been given this big power, and then realizes very quickly that she is basically just a pawn in their game. And she also, Daniel and her have some history, and that there's some emotion there, and she ends up sort of in some ways falling in love with the project despite herself.
And Hamish, your character is carrying this entire production on his back and taking the brunt from all sides.
Yeah.
Does he ever get a break?
No, I don't think he does, because at the same time that he's doing this professionally, his personal life is also a bit of a bin fire. So I think it's kind of wall-to-wall stress for poor Daniel during this chapter of his life.
And
His
Billy,
ever decreasing life span.
well, it's literally sucking his soul dry as these people, especially Richard's character, which is just, he might be the greatest villain that we've ever had in a show like this. Billy, have you've done a ton of things that have been big budget, they have been splashy. How close is this to your experience working on such like big budget projects?
I think the challenges on any size production is there are fires you're kind of putting out naturally, and the community that you work with, sometimes it gets along and meshes well, and then other times it doesn't. And that reality is there, that it is a group of people really trying to do their best, and sometimes it just doesn't work. But I think it works with the franchise crew and the Tecto crew. Like, that's what it is. They are the nurse and the life support of this project to do their best. And I kind of love that's the part of it. The heroes of the film industry are the crew more than it is the stars.
For the viewers coming to the show, Jessica, first tell us who you play and what is her biggest problem.
Okay, so Stephanie, my character is called Stephanie Munden, and she is the script supervisor. And I guess her biggest problem is that she maybe is, I don't know, maybe having a little bit of a midlife crisis that she's not quite acknowledging. So maybe that is a problem. I mean, some people would say it wasn't a problem. I think she herself would probably say it wasn't a problem, but I think that it probably is.
People in crisis often don't say it's a problem.
Exactly. I don't think she's not in crisis. She's not in crisis. She's just, maybe she needs to sort of think about things a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Daniel, the director.
Yeah, I'm playing Eric Bouchard, the director of this magnificent film. The biggest problem, I would say, is the film itself, because, poor Eric feels like he's a captain of a ship that is slowly sinking.
And
will it be saved? The whole project?
He's a creative.
We'll find out.
He's a creative, and
Yeah.
he is working within the parameters of a film franchise that doesn't exactly appreciate creativity.
Yeah, well, at least not, the guys that he has to, deal with.
One of the questions I wanted to ask was, how much is this art imitating your life experiences on sets?
It's pretty accurate. I mean, it's and it's not exaggerated. I mean, you wouldn't imagine the amount of absurdity, of chaos, of madness that can happen on these sets. It's an extreme.
It's kind of more money, more problems, right?
Yeah.
It's like the bigger it is, the kind of more that can go wrong, I suppose.
Yeah.
And when money is no object,
yeah,
that you lack the impetus of that a kind of a budget, creates. Like if there's no money, you just got to make it work somehow. But when the money seems to be endless, things just kind of going to run out of control.
Just keep getting bigger and bigger, and
you have kind of like warehouse full of sort of trees and things that you just don't need anymore. There's a lot of excess in this world, I think.
Right.
And of course, it's funny because when I remember that when I was in the situation and I talked even to my wife or to my friends, then they obviously, normal people think like, yeah, okay, but what is the problem? I mean, you're not working in a hospital. I mean, it's like, but when you're in it, it's everything you have. It's existential, and so it is just, and it's dramatic, and that makes it obviously funny as well, no? But it's also deeply tragic.
Explain your character and what is their biggest problem?
I'm Lolly. I play Dag, the third AD, and Dag's biggest problem is probably not knowing when to keep her mouth shut if she wants to climb through the ranks of the film industry.
I'm Darren. I play Pat Shannon, the second head of the second in command in Maximum Studios. I am the on-set producer of both Tecto and Centurios 2, and my job is to make sure both movies go as to plan.
I play Bryson Hurd, who is Shane Burns' on-set PA. Shane Burns is the head of Maximum Studios, and I am his sort of eyes and ears on set. I think that Bryson's biggest problem is that he doesn't have enough power. He's got a lot of ideas and he just doesn't have any ways to implement them.
Yet he tends to exercise some power over people.
Occasionally, yeah, that's what's interesting is he's always kind of blurring the lines. It's like, where do you actually fall in the hierarchy here? You know, he has real proximity to power, and yet he wields none himself. It's very interesting.
Yet he's slightly terrifying to most of this crew.
Good, they should be. They should be scared.
And Darren, you come in and early on, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but you come in and drop a couple bombshells very early on that do affect not just the production, but everyone who's working on it. And it's one of those things, it's almost like a whisper down the lane thing, where this guy, I can't tell where does this guy even care about the production? Or is he just like, that's part of his job?
Part of the job. It's the bottom line. It doesn't really matter how much the director's heart is in one part of it. If we don't need it, we don't need it. If it doesn't work for the bottom line, get rid of it. He's very matter of fact. Very matter of fact.
And Lolly, Dag is I feel like she's somebody who, if given the chance for anything better than where she is now, she would leave this production in a heartbeat.
I think by the time it gets to the end of the series, she's kind of made connections, and like who knows whether she would stay because of like the friendship she's made along the way. But definitely in the pilot, she like sets her sights on Pat and is right by his side, ready to jump ship, no matter what.
Is this a movie that you would actually go see?
I would watch it on a plane.
No. No. No offense to anyone in the world. No.
I would go with a group of friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
Let's go see Tecto.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
The way that people went to go see like Cats and
Madam
Web, you know.
Oh, you'd hate watch a little.
Oh,
Oh. No, you'd mad watch.
Yeah.
All right.